President makes pledge to war veterans at the 11th War Heroes Memorial. Says won't hesitate to withdraw Sri Lanka from bodies which target soldiers.
If any international body or organization continuously target our country and our war heroes using baseless allegations, I will also not hesitate to withdraw Sri Lanka from such bodies or organizations.
Heavy showers exceeding 200 millimeters forecast in Nuwara Eliya, Ratnapura, Galle, Kalutara and Galle districts. India and Bangladesh brace for the strongest storm ever recorded in the Bay of Bengal. Hold the general election and convene the new parliament soon, a statement from the former president. ICC unaware of the proposed Homagama International Cricket Stadium.
Good evening to all our viewers. You're watching the news at 9 live and direct from our studios in Colombo. Bringing you the news tonight, I am Joel Outsgood. We start off today with a look at our top story this evening. The National War Heroes Day celebration was held at the National War Heroes Monument. The event was graced by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The acting IGP, commanders of the Tri-Forces, Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne, Admiral of the Fleet Vasantha Karannagoda, Marshal of the Air Force Roshan Gunatilaka were among the key dignitaries who graced the occasion.
This beautiful island, Mother Lanka.
The event commenced following the arrival of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
இந்த வைபவத்திலே கலந்து கொள்வதற்காக இலங்கை ஜனநாயக சோசலிச குடியரசு ஸ்ரீலங்கா மாதா அப்ப ஸ்ரீலங்கா பிலிகன அப்ப ஜீவனவே
Armed Forces personnel who had laid down their lives during the 3-decade-long conflict were remembered at the National War Heroes Monument.
இந்த அவர்களுடைய ஆத்ம சாந்திக்கு நாங்கள் இறைவனை
ජනාධිපතිතුමාගෙන්ද අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමාගෙන්ද
රාජ්‍යයට සම්ප්‍රාප්ත වන්නට අපට කරුණා කළ මැනව.
යුද්ධය අනු රෝසමල් යහනාවක් නොවේ.
War is not a bed of roses. The war heroes had to face numerous bitter experiences and difficulties when battling one of the most ruthless terrorist organizations in the world, which did not respect the law. The prime objective of the humanitarian mission was to bring lasting peace in the country. Our country, nourished by Buddhist philosophy, possesses a form of administration that is an oasis for all religions and all nationalities. The motive of the extremists was to divide us. If they were successful in their attempt, our history could have taken a different course. Sri Lanka could have become a country where communities hate each other. The honor of liberating the country from this catastrophe should be given to all our heroic troops who fought for the peace in our country for a long time. Therefore, I will not allow any room for attempts to discredit and destroy the dignity of our war heroes who made countless sacrifices to bring peace to entire Sri Lanka. I assure you that under my administration, we will take every measure always to protect the dignity of our heroic forces.
Even leaders of powerful countries have emphatically stated that they would not allow any action against their war heroes. As such, in a small country like ours, where our war heroes have sacrificed so much, I will not allow anyone or organization to exert undue pressure on them and harass them. If any international body or organization continuously target our country and our war heroes using baseless allegations, I will also not hesitate to withdraw Sri Lanka from such bodies or organizations.
We pay tribute of the nation to all the war heroes and their families who contributed to the battle against separatism for 3 decades. Soldiers who had lost their lives in battle were honored by showering flowers from helicopters. The President and the Prime Minister paid floral tributes to the monument during the occasion. The families of those who lost their lives also paid floral tributes in remembrance of their loved ones.
Secretary of Defence, retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne, who played a key role in the last mission, reminisced the sacrifices our war heroes made for the independence we enjoy today. More than 29,000 war heroes have sacrificed their lives to bring peace to the people of this country and to the future generations of the country. More than 60,000 war heroes were injured in the humanitarian operation, and more than 14,000 war heroes are still bedridden and spending their lives on wheelchairs. They sacrificed their lives to grant this country a better tomorrow. As a nation and as a government, we memorize all the war heroes who fought to free our country and sacrificed their lives for our future. My dear countrymen, these heroes sacrificed their lives, their loved ones, and everything else for the people of this country and for future generations. They sacrificed their lives so that we can live without fear.
ඉපදිලා ඉන්න සහ උපදින්න ඉන්න අපේ අනාගත පරම්පරාවට බයක් සැකක් නැතුව ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් රටක් බිහි කරන්න.
Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, who served as army commander during the victory of the war, expressed the following views. No one believed that we could win the war. The army too didn't believe it. I personally believed that we could defeat the poorly equipped terrorists if we had firepower and large troops. I had identified the weaknesses of the terrorists and our army troops as well. I told the Defense Secretary at the time that we need to increase the strength of our troops and our power. It was difficult to engage in war due to certain officials who issued instructions. I told that I required freedom from them. At that time, he said that he would give me the required freedom to do the needful. After reorganizing the army, I changed our fighting strategy. That was how we won the war. If we had 7,000 military personnel in one division, I divided them into 4 troops and positioned them in a manner in which they gained a 15-kilometer lead. The terrorists couldn't battle that strategy. My intention on the battlefield was not to capture roads or towns. I planned to kill them. My plan was to kill terrorists. When 7 or 8 army personnel were killed daily, we used to kill 20 terrorists. I did not want to go forward by killing more terrorists. The army was able to move forward as the terrorists retreated. The areas seized by terrorists reduced as a result of that.
Well, the footage you just witnessed was owing to the adverse weather which is seen over the island. Now, 2 people lost their lives due to the inclement weather in the country, with one being washed away due to strong currents, while another died after a mound of earth had collapsed today. Accordingly, 6 people have died due to adverse weather conditions in the island.
Several landslides were reported and earth embankments have been collapsed due to the prevailing inclement weather. A 29-year-old mother passed away after an embankment collapsed onto the shop in Baranduwa, Palmudulla at 7:30 this morning. The landslide was reported in Gallala on the Ratnapura-Wevalwatha main road. According to the National Building Research Organization, the same place has been subject to landslides in 2017 as well. Officials at the NBRO arrived at the location and inspected the situation. Meanwhile, transportation was hampered on the Hatton-Colombo main road after an earth embankment collapsed in Diagala and Watalawa.
While water levels of the Kalu River continued to rise, residents of Ratnapura were evacuated as the area faced a threat of massive flooding. Ratnapura District Secretary Malani Lokupotagama said that instructions have been issued in this regard to the divisional secretaries and Gramaniladari officers. Heavy rains were experienced in Ratnapura and in surrounding areas since yesterday. The Balangod area had been inundated due to the overflowing of the Boravella river. The Balangod bus stand and the market in the area had also been submerged in floodwaters. The Kirial area also received 166 millimeters of rainfall. Flooding had also occurred at the Paradise Junction along the Ratnapura-Colombo road. The Karavita River is also reaching spill levels. Transportation along the Colombo-Ratnapura main road and its by-roads in the New Town area had been obstructed after a tree had fallen across the road. The Veralupa village, Karannagoda, along with the Dambuluvava and Guineava roads had also been inundated by floods. Areas surrounding the Barandu area in Palmadulla had also been submerged in floods after water levels in the streams leading to the Denavaka River and the Kalu River had risen. Flooding had also occurred in Ayagama and its surrounding areas. The life-saving unit of the Ratnapura police are making preparations to rescue people stranded by the floods in the Ratnapura town. 3 spill gates of the Upper Kotmale Dam had been opened due to heavy rains. Spill gates of the Lakshapana Reservoir had also been opened. The Vimala Surendra Reservoir is also reaching spill levels. 18 houses had been inundated due to the overflowing of the Keselgama River. Residents of this area had been evacuated to safe locations. Several houses in the Vataval area had also been submerged in floodwaters due to the overflowing of the Hatton River. Water levels of the Maoya had also risen due to heavy rains in the Dolosbage area. Floods were also witnessed near the Mavanalla water plant. The Nelu area in Gaul had experienced the highest amount of rainfall over the last 24 hours, ending at 7 a.m. today. The rainfall experienced in the area had been recorded at 168.5 millimeters. Statistics showed that the water levels of the Ging River has also been increasing. Water levels in the Urubokka River had also increased due to heavy rains experienced in the Katuan area. Houses in the Katuan area had been damaged due to heavy winds. Trees had also fallen onto the road in the Valigama and Denipiti areas due to the heavy winds. Houses in the Kirigala area in Horana had also been damaged due to strong winds experienced this morning. Water levels of the Mahavali River has also increased. Low-lying areas in Navalapitiya had also been inundated due to heavy rains. Heavy winds that blew across Monaragala, Buttala, Vallavaya and Tanamalville areas also sustained damages due to heavy winds.
The Meteorological Department says that certain areas in the districts of Norelia, Ratnapura, Kegol, Kaluthara, Gaul and Matara are likely to receive up to 200 millimeters of rainfall during the next 24 hours. The department noted that heavy rains could be experienced as a result of the Amphan cyclone in the Bay of Bengal.
Landslide warnings have been issued to 10 districts due to heavy rains in the country. Certain areas in the Ratnapura district have been identified as high-risk areas for landslides. Red alerts have been issued to 5 divisional secretaries in the Ratnapura district. Accordingly, residents in the areas which are highly vulnerable to landslides have been advised to evacuate their homes. Areas falling under the purview of the Ayagama, Ratnapura, Alapatha, Kalawana and Kiriyala divisional secretariats have been identified as high-risk areas. Meanwhile, landslide warnings have been issued to the Gaul, Matale, Kaluthara, Matara, Colombo, Kegol, Kurunagala, Nuwara and Kandy districts. The Irrigation Department says that water levels in the Kalu, Ging, Kalani, Nilwala and Mahavali rivers are also on the rise. According to the Irrigation Department, the water levels of the Kalu River has reached minor flooding levels in the Ratnapura district. Water levels of the Ging River has reached major flood levels in the Tavalam area. Although water levels of the Kalani River in the Holangbu area has reduced, the water levels of the river in the Norwood area have increased. The Nilwala River, in which water levels are currently increasing, has reached minor flooding levels in the Pittabadar area. The Irrigation Department noted that water levels of the Mahavali River, which reached minor flooding level in Navalapitiya, has begun to recede. Meanwhile, the Amphan cyclone, which caused inclement weather conditions in the country, is heading towards the West Bengal coast.
Now, millions of people in India and Bangladesh are in the path of a super cyclone which is due to make landfall in less than 36 hours, bringing damaging winds and heavy rain to a region which is already struggling with the coronavirus pandemic.
Super cyclone Amphan became the strongest storm ever recorded in the Bay of Bengal last night after intensifying with sustained wind speeds of up to 270 kilometers per hour. The Bay of Bengal in the northeastern part of the Indian Ocean is positioned between India to the west and northwest, Bangladesh to the north and Myanmar to the east.
Still in headline-making news this evening, the petitions filed against the decision taken to hold the general elections on the 20th of June were taken up at the Supreme Court today once again. Now, Newsfirst Charlene Benedict reports on the situation.
The fundamental rights petitions filed by 7 parties and the intervening petitions were taken up before the Supreme Court today. This is regarding the Gazette notification calling for an election on the 20th of June as well as the dissolution of Parliament on the 2nd of March. Now, counsel representing the petitioners made submissions in court today. Attorney at Law Suren Fernando, representing one of the petitioners, said that Parliament is a continuing institution and just because Parliament is dissolved does not mean that it does does not exist and that Parliament can be reconvened at any time to pass the necessary legislation.
Viran Korea, appearing for the Centre for Policy Alternatives, and P. Sarvanamuthu, in his submission said that a free and fair election must be safe, and health experts have suggested that under the prevailing conditions holding an election is not safe. He added that until a new parliament can be elected, the functions of parliament must continue, and he concurred with the submissions made by President's Counsel M.A. Sumanthiran. He submitted that Article 33A and 42 of the Constitution stipulates that the President and the Cabinet are constitutionally responsible to Parliament. He also pointed out in court that Parliament has full control over public finance. He referred to the 2018 case on the dissolution of Parliament and said,
Well, now these were the views expressed in the political arena regarding the election.
Since a crisis has arisen, the President should revoke his Gazette, which is now null and void. However, the President is adamant that he will not revoke the Gazette and that the Election Commission will hold the election based on how they want. It is because of this stance that a crisis has arisen. Therefore, the citizens of this country were forced to go to the Supreme Court to resolve this issue. We believe that during the coming days, this impasse can be resolved through the ruling of the Supreme Court. The people are saying that they do not want an election at this time. Therefore, I believe that the leaders of this country, together with the political leaders, should resolve this issue after consulting health experts, instead of focusing on a petty political agenda.
An opposition like this cannot be found in Italy, Spain or the US. An opposition of this nature can be found only in Sri Lanka. Hundreds of people are dying in Italy daily. However, have they relaxed the laws to conduct an election? They have done it to reawaken the country's economy in a proper manner. The people should be allowed to engage in their day-to-day activities. Otherwise, they will die of other diseases. However, those measures are not criticized as they do not have an opposition like ours. Unfortunately, the country which has the best things in the world has a worst opposition. They are going to court as they have nothing to do these days. There is no problem of going before court. We are conducting ourselves in keeping with the law. Therefore, we don't have any concerns regarding that.
We saw the Rajapaksas shedding crocodile tears over the Supreme Court. Mahinda Rajapaksa had to resign as Prime Minister due to the wrong legal advice provided by his team. This is what the team is doing to Gotabaya Rajapaksa as well. We believe that the court will issue an independent and unbiased ruling regarding the constitutional impasse.
They are afraid that they will lose the election if the poll is conducted instead of dissolving Parliament. They are scared of going before the people. This party, which is afraid of the people, had postponed the election using parliamentary powers under their administration. Since they are not in power, they are trying to see if they can prevent the people from moving forward, at least by going to court.
When the government continues to ignore our calls, the only place before which we can go is the court. We are not going before court out of fear. During the 52-day political crisis, it was by going before court that we managed to reverse the actions of that government. We are going to court irrespective of whether the ruling is issued in our favor or not. We will be there whenever rule of law prevails.
They are trying to cancel the nomination lists for the election and to submit new ones together with the United National Party. That is why they have gone to court. We believe that the court will do the needful. We wish to state that we are fully prepared for the election.
The Samagijana Balawege will register a massive victory at the election. In addition to that, we will clinch the powers of the United National Party and enter Sirikota as a party which has the people's mandate after the election. The Samagijana Balawege is not built only on one person. We are expecting the court ruling very soon. We need a leader who respects the constitution. This country does not require a leader who disregards the constitution.
The Sumandirans, Hakim, Sajid Premadasas and the Ranil Wickramasinghes are solely focusing on cancelling the nomination lists. A member of the United National Party against the Samagijana Balawege is seeking to cancel its nomination lists. We wish to tell Sajid Premadasa and Ranjit Madhum Bandara to protect their nomination list as they don't know how the court ruling will turn out on the 22nd of May.
ඒ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න අපි විසඳ ගන්න.
We shall resolve this issue. Are they paying attention to the people or focusing on the problems within parties? We can unite either before or after the election. There is no conflict between us to avoid confronting each other. When the citizens of this country are using their legal right to go before court and seek justice, it is not the government's duty and responsibility to attempt to turn this into a political issue.
ආණ්ඩුවේ යුතුයකම සහ වගකීම වෙන්නේ.
Well, the report pertaining to the judicial proceedings on the upcoming general elections was interrupted owing to a technical difficulty. However, the full report is available on our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk, together with our social media platforms, that is Facebook and Instagram. We move on to more news here at home. Now, former President Maithripala Sirisena says that the general election should be held based on the instructions of health authorities and that Parliament should be reconvened immediately.
අද මහමැතිවරණය සහ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව පිළිබඳව ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ අධිකරණයේ නඩු විභාග වෙනවා මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
Cases have been filed pertaining to the general election and parliament. And considering my point of view and the point of view of the SLFP, we have to understand the importance of parliament and constitution before thinking about an election. The country cannot go forward without a parliament. The president needs the assistance of parliament to solve the economic and the political issues of the country. It is necessary to hold the general election and to convene the new parliament after seeking the advice and following the instructions given by health experts. Our hope is to contest the general election as Sri Lanka Nidahas for Jana Sandhana and obtain the power of the parliament triumphantly.
Today, Minister Dasre Jayasekara announced that Mahinda Samarasinghe has been removed from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Today, our party chairman and former president Maithripala Sirisena met with the group that would be contesting from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party in Kalutara. During the meeting, a decision was reached to cancel the membership of Mahinda Samarasinghe, who served as the district leader. This is because he had obtained the membership of another party. Accordingly, a decision was reached to appoint Sumital Mendes to that position. At the same time, we also removed certain electoral organizers from their posts. We will take steps to appoint new electoral organizers in the near future.
යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් ඉවත් කරන්න කටයුතු කරනවා ඉදිරි දින කිහිපය ඇතුළත ඒ වගේම අලුත් සංවිධායකවරුන් පත් කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය කටයුතු කරනවා.
Against a backdrop where various statements are being made about the controversial cricket stadium that is proposed to be constructed in Homagama, Newsfirst Jama Ratnayaka brings us this special report.
Good evening. Now, as of late, the headlines that dominated the social sphere in Sri Lanka were the COVID-19 pandemic and the postponement of the general election. However, as of recently, a new headline has started making the rounds in social circles as well as the entire country of Sri Lanka, and that is the proposed construction of the largest international cricket stadium here in Sri Lanka, which is to be constructed on a 26-acre land in Diyagama, Homagama. Now, News First inquired further into the cost of constructing this stadium, and we found out that a cost of 8 billion Sri Lankan rupees will be borne to construct this state-of-the-art, fully-fledged international cricket stadium here in Sri Lanka. Now, inquiring further, we found out that the cost will be borne via a bank loan that is obtained from a bank or a recognized state financial institution, or a recognized financial institution rather, and that $2.5 million will be paid yearly as installments through funds allocated by the ICC, which is cricket's governing body, the International Cricket Council. Against such a backdrop, Uday Gammampila voiced his opinion regarding this proposed construction of the cricket stadium. Let's take a look.
The ICC has allocated $30 million to Sri Lanka to construct an international cricket stadium. The funds have been received by the governing body of cricket to construct an international stadium in order to develop the standard of the sport in the country. Not a cent is spent by the government of Sri Lanka. If these funds are not utilized by us, it will be presented to a different country to construct a stadium.
Now, to obtain a further clarification regarding this matter, News First reached out to the media and communications manager of the ICC, or the International Cricket Council, Rajesh Rao, and he said neither an agreement nor a discussion has taken place regarding a construction or financing the construction of such a stadium.
Now, it should be mentioned that Newsfirst does not oppose the construction of a fully fledged state-of-the-art international cricket stadium here in Sri Lanka. If the chairman of the SLC deems fit, he can shape it in any way he wants when constructing it. However, Newsfirst or the people have not forgotten the discrepancies and the misdealings that were highlighted continuously during various audits and committees that have been committed, various misdealings, various malpractices committed by officials attached to the SLC. We will continue to monitor this situation very closely and report to you with further details.
Posting a tweet on his official Twitter handle, former MP Namal Rajapaksa said, quote, "Infrastructure development is vital for any sport, but this should not have been a priority at a time like this. The authorities must always involve all stakeholders and get their opinion before taking the final decision," unquote.
The recommendations to construct this ground were presented during the tenure of the previous government. Patali Champika Ranawaka has decided to construct the ground at that particular site. State funds will not be utilized for this. The ICC and the SLC will bear the cost of construction. Anyways, there is no need to look into the construction of a cricket stadium, as there are more important things to be done.
Meanwhile, issuing a communique, former Sri Lanka cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga said that Sri Lanka already has more cricket stadiums than Australia, pointing out that the Asgiriya and Moratuwa cricket stadiums, where a number of iconic matches were hosted, have now been abandoned. He said that plans must be made to renovate these stadiums instead of spending millions of rupees on the construction of new stadiums. He added that only one international match was played at the Hambantota cricket grounds last year, while not a single international match was played at the Dambulla cricket stadium.
Today, they are planning on constructing an international cricket stadium at the cost of over 7 billion rupees. The government that makes these plans have now proved that they are an ineffective government, as they have not been able to even provide fertilizer to farmers who are the backbone of our country. My personal opinion is that there is no need to construct any cricket stadiums now. This is not a time to construct stadiums. The cricket board is there to develop cricket. So I think that the chairman of the cricket board would say, we are there to develop cricket, so we will continue to construct stadiums. But how can we play cricket? How far is it from Homagama to the SSC? We have the Premadasa grounds, the Pisara Oval. How many grounds do we have in Colombo?
Our country already has a number of cricket grounds. Some grounds haven't even been used. There are suspicions if these are just projects to obtain commissions. Mr. Vimal Weerawansa has mentioned that this has been done by me. He is making such statements to cover up the effect this issue has on the government. We all know that Vimal Weerawansa is not someone who understands what the truth is, and is someone who doesn't know the importance of knowledge. So I'm not hoping to respond to him. But I'd like to say that our Ministry of Megapolis Development wanted to establish an IT village on a different land. Our intention was not to build a ground. We have already established institutions and organizations where a large number of students can now study.
Another 10 COVID-19 patients were fully recovered and discharged from hospitals today. Accordingly, the total number of recovered patients in the country now stands at 569. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said that the total number of COVID-19 patients in Sri Lanka stands at 1,021. 443 patients are receiving medical treatment. Moving on, news overseas. Now, clashes broke out in Hong Kong's legislature yesterday for a second time this month as the pro-Beijing lawmaker was elected as chair of a key committee that scrutinizes bills, ending a prolonged struggle for control with the pro-democracy camp.
In chaotic scenes yesterday, pro-democracy legislators charged at security guards surrounding pro-establishment legislator Chan Kim-po, who had taken the chairman's seat in the meeting against procedural objections by the opposition. The legislature's House Committee, which bets bills and decides when to present them for a final vote, had been without a chairperson for more than 6 months. It was the second time in 10 days that legislators have had physical altercations over the procedures of electing a chairperson.
Well, with that, we wrap this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'm Joel Outskun, together with our interpreter tonight, Brian De Cruz. We sign off. Thank you very much. Good night.